Hi, let us talk about the Bloom's taxonomy. This is a common term that all the academicians know. This includes teachers, lecturers, and educators. All the academicians use this Bloom's taxonomy on their daily basis, specifically in the process of designing the teaching and learning activities, and also when come to the assessment of the knowledge learned by the students. Now, what is Bloom's taxonomy? It is basically a hierarchical model that categorizes learning objectives into various levels of complexity, from basic knowledge and comprehensions to advanced evaluations and creations. By looking at these definitions, it may be very difficult to understand. To make it simple, when we talk about the educations, we are talking about delivery of the knowledge. There will be two main parts in terms of the educations. First is about the teaching and learning activities, and then second it will be the assessments in order to gauge the levels of achievement by the students through learnings. Now that during the process of delivering the knowledge can be in various levels of complexity. At some levels of educations, only basic knowledge and comprehensions are required. However, at certain other levels, the requirements in terms of the knowledge will be higher. This involves higher levels of thinking orders, requiring the students to synthesize, to have higher levels of creativities and innovations, to have critical thinkings, to have the ability to conduct evaluations, and to have the ability to design something new. Now the academicians are using this Bloom's taxonomy to categorize the levels of this knowledge, whether they are basics, intermediates, or advanced, and incorporate them into their teachings, meeting the standards and requirements of that particular education's level. This Bloom's taxonomy serves as a guide, classifying the levels of complexity so that the academicians has an idea the levels of the knowledge that they are delivering. Normally, experienced educators will know the Bloom's taxonomy. Let's say you are first being introduced with this, which until this stage, you still cannot fully imagine that. It is totally okay. We're going to discuss in details in the following videos. Now let us first look at the backgrounds of this Bloom's taxonomy. It started in 1956. A professor named Benjamin Bloom introduced these methods. That's why the Bloom's taxonomy is named under his surname. There are three main domains related to the education's objectives. This includes the cognitive, psychomotor, and affective. We're going to discuss about them later. Now, as far as the Bloom's taxonomy is concerned, it is used to give instructions that stimulates critical thinking and develops students' higher order thinking skills. And the academicians use this set of rules in the process of designing their teaching and learning activities, as well as designing their assessment methods. We mentioned about the three main domains here. The first one is the cognitive domain. This is related to the development of intellectual skills. Simply put, the cognitive domain is related to the knowledge. Anything which students need to learn in the form of knowledge will be considered under the cognitive domain. The second one is the psychomotor. This is related to the motor skills, physical movement, and coordinations. That means this psychomotor domain here is related to the skills and mostly is related to the movements. Now the third domain, it will be the affective. This one is related to the value, attitudes, and also feelings. Anything related to this will be categorized under the affective. What you see here, when talk about the educations, it is not merely delivery in terms of the knowledge. Knowledge will be categorized under cognitive. There will be trainings and teachings related to the skills. This will be under the psychomotor domain, and also delivery in terms of the awareness, value, attitudes, and this will be under the affective domain. Due to different categories of the educational objectives, the assessments for each one of them will vary. The purpose of assessment is to gauge the levels of learning and achievement by the students after going through the learning. For the cognitive domains, when knowledge is being delivered, the assessment methods used may be tests, assignment, and final exams. These are the methods students can show that whether they have acquired the relevant knowledge. Now, if we talk about the psychomotor part, which is skill-based, the test, assignments, and final exam may not be suitable. Normally, skill part will be related to the practical tests or demonstrations. We are looking into the speeds, precisions, the procedures, technique in executions, and also proficiencies. These are the indicators reflecting the level of mastery of the students in terms of the skills being delivered. As for the affective domain, we will need to monitor their attitudes, their behaviors, to observe their value as well as their beliefs. What you see here, different type of the educational objectives will have different methods to do the assessment. You will need to use the right assessment in order to gauge the levels of the achievement in terms of the learning by the students. Now, knowing different domains of the educational objectives, we're going to discuss in detail about the Bloom's taxonomy in our next video.